Hi, welcome to the Say Yes Experience podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Rector, and I am so thrilled you are joining us here today. So I had an opportunity recently for something I'd never thought about doing before, and here's how I said yes. So Blaze and I recently stayed in a snow igloo hotel when we were out on a trip. Now, a snow igloo hotel, how cool is that? It gets super cold in it because it's completely made out of snow. Now, you may be wondering, well, where do you put your luggage? They have a main house that you can stay in, you can play games at, you eat, and you leave your luggage there. And then you go and sleep in these snow igloos, and they are amazing. They're made new every year, every winter they get made, and each igloo has a different theme. And we stayed at the Lucky Ranch in Finland, and so check them out. It was an incredible experience. And the only thing you have when you're staying in these snow igloos is a sleeping bag. That's it. Of course, you have a bed that you're sleeping on, and they have reindeer skin on top of the mattress, which is supposed to keep it extra warm for you. But really, the only thing you have to cover yourself with is a sleeping bag. And I thought, is that going to be warm enough? Well, we were going to find out. They also gave us a hot water bottle that we put inside the sleeping bag at our feet. And so at our feet, we had the hot water bottle, I had my coat, and I had my ski pants, because I didn't sleep in my ski pants because the owner had said, you probably want to take those off, you might get too hot. And so I was just in thermals sleeping, and we were willing to try it because we're up for any challenge, especially if it's adventurous and fun. So these sleeping bags are not like sleeping bags that I have at my house when we go camping. These sleeping bags were actually inside a lot smaller. Now, the sleeping bags I have for camping tend to be flatter sleeping bags where there's a lot more room, like pretty much 2 kids could probably fit in the sleeping bags we have at our house. These were sleeping bags specifically made for only one person. And they had this little part that at the top of the sleeping bag was a hood that you put over your head as well. And it was the best night's sleep I had the whole time I was in Finland. And we're in Finland for almost 2 weeks. The best night's sleep I'd had. Now, when I first got in the sleeping bag, I said, okay, I'm going to take a sip of water before I go to sleep. So I took a sip of water, and unbeknownst to me, I did not tighten my water bottle cap. And so the water leaked inside my sleeping bag. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's wet in here. So Blaze was nice enough to run all the way back up to the basically living area, if you will, where all of our stuff was, and exchange out my sleeping bag. And so we set my sleeping bag up again. I fell asleep. I woke up about an hour later, and my leg was wet. Well, what I also didn't know is because my first sleeping bag was wet, I was laying on the wet spot, and so my leg got completely wet, meaning my pants got wet and everything. So then Blaze was already asleep. So I went back, and keep in mind, so we're going back. I didn't put my coat on. I'm running back quite a ways inside in the snow in negative 35-degree weather to exchange this out. So I get a new sleeping bag. I change my clothes, take the wet pants off, put new wet ones on, get back in, and then I slept the whole rest of the night. In fact, so much so that I overslept my alarm. I was sound asleep. So nice, warm and toasty and cozy, like where you just don't want to get up and out of bed. However, I had made a plan that next morning. Now, we had to make sure that we caught our bus at a very specific time to get back to the city. Now, as you know, buses don't wait for you. So if you miss it, you miss it. And it was a 2-hour bus ride, so I had no way back to the city, and we had to be back for a tour. So we had to make that bus. Now, the hotel owner the night before, meaning the first day that we arrived, had told us about a plunge that he had out back, air quotes, out back. And I was like, oh, tell me about it. And so he says that you go in, you do a quick hot sauna, which, did you know there's 300,000 saunas in Finland? Crazy. It's very normal and natural to have a sauna in your place in Finland. Crazy. Anyway, so he said you do a quick sauna, then you walk down to the lake, and he created this hole in the frozen lake, and you do a polar plunge, and then you come back up and go get a sauna. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Never thought about doing it before until you told me that. I said, yes, let's do it. I thought maybe this is my only opportunity to do that, especially in a frozen lake. Blaze, I could not convince Blaze to do it. I tried to get him to do it, and he was like, it is too cold. I do not want to do it. No, because what it encountered was you walking down to the sauna. It's not attached to the house. You got to walk down to the sauna. They had this room connected. You changed in that room. So I changed in my bathing suit, did a hot sauna, but then you had to walk down in your bathing suit. Again, negative 35-degree weather. Walk all the way down to the lake, which I say all the way down. It was probably, a 3-4 minute walk. That's it. It wasn't that long. But when it's negative 35 and all you got on is a bathing suit, I did wrap a towel around me. It was cold. Nothing. And I was in Crocs, so no socks or anything on my feet. And then you go backwards down into the water. Now, when you're standing there going backwards down into the water, I was trying to find my footing, and I could not find the first step down into the water. And so as I'm standing there I'm putting one leg down into the water. The other one is on complete solid sheet of ice. And I'm asking the guy, where's the step? I don't see the step. I don't feel the step. He's like, it's down there. It's down there. So I put my right leg all the way in up to my knee, and I could not find the step. So I came back up and I was like, where's the step? And he's like, it's down there. This whole time I'm standing on solid ice. I'm like, it is? He's like, yes. So I go down again. I don't find the first step. I actually, unbeknownst to me, find the second step this time. And I go down in it, and it's all a mindset thing, right? It's about calming your mind, calming your breathing, taking long, deep breaths, slowly letting it out. And he's talking to me, part of it, he's telling me, put your hands in the water, hold on to the step, because it's actually warmer, and it was actually warmer than your body being above the water. And then he counted down, because it's too dangerous to be in this cold of water for that long, and absolutely not you cannot put your head under, way too dangerous for that. But way too dangerous to stay in for more than just a few seconds, because it was so cold. So he counted it and then said, okay, and now come back up. And I was like, really? I just got used to it. I had just gotten used to it when he said, okay, and come back up. It was crazy. And so I came back up and walked back and got into the sauna, and I was so proud of myself for doing it. It was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it. It was so awesome. But I had just gotten used to it. And then he's like, okay, and come back up. And I posted that on social media, and I got a lot of people saying, no way, are you crazy? Why would you do that? How could you do that? That's nuts. And the thing is it wasn't anything I had thought about before, not anything that appealed to me, but it was an opportunity that came up in conversation, and I wanted to say yes, because you never know when opportunities come up, what waits on the other side of that opportunity. It could be a lesson learned. It could be a challenge. It could be the best experience you've ever had. You reach a new goal or a new dream, and if you don't say yes to it, you're never going to know what that is, because something amazing always waits on the other side of that. And so the way I was able to do it is, yes, the host kept saying, okay, it's your mindset, calm your breathing. And that's what it was, just your mindset. And if you think about things that you go through in life, challenges that come up, issues that arise, a discussion that you have. Maybe it's a project that you're working on, or a team member that's toxic, or you pushing and going and doing all these things that come up in life. Maybe it's a conversation that didn't work out the way you planned, or a program that you put in place that didn't have the results you wanted. All the things that come up in life are really just a mindset thing. Because you can choose how you look at it. You can choose how you respond to it. Do you respond or do you react? Do you have a negative attitude or do you have a positive attitude? Is it, oh my gosh, I can't believe it? Or are you, oh my gosh, this is going to be a great opportunity? Because the change, the uncertainty, the unknown come up continuously in life. And it's all about how you approach it. So, although this was something I never thought about before, it was incredible to really, in that moment, tackle your mind and to get control of your mind. Now, if I sat there and thought about it, I would have talked myself out of it, just like we do with a lot of stuff. When we sit there and analyze it or overthink something, you talk yourself out of it. You think of all the ways it can go wrong, or how it's not going to work out, or how you're not going to succeed, and so you just don't do it. So next time an opportunity presents itself, whether it's a polar plunge, whether it's applying for a job or taking on a new leadership role, say yes, because something amazing waits for you on the other side of that yes. And in the midst throughout your day, you have control of your mind. How are you keeping it intact? Making sure your mental health is at the top of its game. Because anything you encounter in life, everything you encounter in life, is all about your mindset. So how are you approaching today, this moment, this instant, the next conversation you have, a project that doesn't go right, someone who is not contributing positively to your work environment? How are you responding to that? And how can you create a mind shift around it to create more positivity and happiness in your life? So, are you going to go out and do a polar plunge? Would you say yes to that opportunity? What opportunities are you saying yes to in 2024? We want to hear from you. Have an amazing day, my friend, and make sure you control your mind, because it's the fundamental foundation of everything you do and everything you don't do. Oftentimes, it's the last thing you think about, if you think about it at all. Think about it. When was the last time you thought about what you thought about? You don't. You keep doing the same thing in the same way, delivering the same behaviors, actions, and results. And now is the time to start changing those behaviors, actions, and results by thinking differently. I'll see you on the next one. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.